Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to talk to the host of a wildly successful podcast. If you're looking for engaging content, we have the remedy. Their story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home. We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network. We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team. And the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, I saw a Wall Street Journal article a few months ago that said podcast is the new thing. Like companies all over the United States are being told, where is our podcast? Well, 2 young ladies who are ahead of the game are Tova Sido and Janice Gaunt, because you guys have had a show for how many years now?
We're coming up on 4.
4 years.
4 years.
Yes. 4 years. Okay. We're going to start with you, Tova, okay? Because you started the podcast. It's called The Remedy, and It's very, very successful. What made you decide to start it?
Well, I started it because I felt like in life we have a lot of questions, and we navigate. We're always navigating, whether it's work, children, marriage, relationships. There's a lot of navigating, and every day is different. And life gets you, life gets you, whether it's cancer, divorce, sexual problems, erectile dysfunction, communication problems, parenting. I felt like there were just a lot of people who had a lot of questions about how to navigate the parts of life that we don't have the answers to. So when I started the podcast, my thinking was to create remedies for some of life's biggest issues. And so I called upon experts when I felt like I didn't have the answer. I invited experts in who could help me navigate as a particular problem and help me find a remedy. And so Janice was one of my most popular guests. She is my therapist and has been my therapist since 2014. And she gave me so many of my remedies. So whenever I wanted to talk about relationship stuff or children stuff or divorce stuff, grief, she gave me a lot of my life remedies. And so we talked a lot about those, or I spoke a lot about her, invited her to be the expert for the remedy and that we were trying to find. And then her being on my show made it that much more popular. So I invited her to come full time. So she's been with me about 2 years now.
Yeah.
We have exactly 220 episodes.
That is amazing. Okay, Janice, let's bring you into this.
Okay.
You guys have such great rapport. That's you generally like each other.
Oh,
right?
we
We really
love
do.
each other a lot.
Tell us, Janice, when you came to the podcast, what did you feel like you were able to add?
Well, there was a couple of things that I could add. One has been my journey. I got a divorce when I was 42, went back to graduate school, got my master's in counseling, started a private practice, and really reinvented myself. My divorce was extremely devastating to me, and so I had to become kind of a different person. And so what I was fortunate enough to do is start a private practice and have people like Tova to come in and ask me some questions, and I could help them out, and it has just grown exponentially over the past several years. So it's been really great. And then for Tova and I to do this together, we liked each other so much, even when she came in to see me, and now we have a really good friendship. I'm quite a bit older than Tova, and so it's just been really fun.
And Tova, one of the things that I think you bring to this show is you had a lot of pain coming into your journey. Would you share with the audience what you've been through?
Sure. I joke a lot that my life resume is pretty unsexy. I've had a lot of loss. I have lost 3 children. I had a stillborn. I gave birth to 2 children that passed away from a rare metabolic disease. I had a miscarriage. I adopted 3 children from Africa, which has been a great joy, but incredibly challenging. I got divorced, and this last year, it's kind of like the tipping point, but I was actually on my bike at a stoplight, and I was hit by a truck going 50 miles per hour, thrown 30 feet, and broke 15 bones. So life has just, it's like, it's been a lot, and I'm 51, but I feel like I'm really young, and it seems just like I've been through a lot. I've had to find a lot of my own personal remedies.
Well, I always say that they don't make Hollywood movies about people who were born rich, had no adversity, and died rich. Nobody would watch that movie. So both of your life experience brings a unique perspective to the topics you tackle. Let's go ahead and show the website, and we're just going to scroll down the website. And one, I love the artwork. I love how clean the website is, and you must really enjoy it. How often do you do the show?
It's a weekly podcast. We record every Monday. We post every Monday. And, people are kind of chomping at the bit. If we don't have something up by Tuesday morning when moms are doing carpool or somebody's exercising and it's not up, we hear about it. And we have tens of thousands of listeners all over the world. It feels like Janice and I do not make a dime on the remedy. This is kind of our way to give back to life and people, and people stop us all the time and thank us. I mean, I was on a trail in Aspen, and a complete stranger was like, "Are you Tova Sido?" And through tears, a lot of times people stop us and thank us for the work that we've done. And that alone is a huge reward.
That's so powerful. We're going to scroll down some of the shows that you've done in the past and just kind of looking at some of these titles. Those are kind of like...
Look at that rating.
Look at that. Amazing. And totally,
who was the person that didn't give us that extra
even Oprah does not have a 4.9. I would point that out.
Is that right? We need to meet that person. So when you first made Apple's list, what was that like?
We got an email announcing that we were... Apple produces, as you know, millions and millions of podcasts. And so we got an email that notified us that we were in the top 750. And that was a year ago. We've moved up even more since then. And so it's been a very humbling experience. And it's been a whole lot of fun as well.
How do you come up with your topics? Janice, as you're out and about, do you say, now there's a story, there's something we should do?
Yes, we do. We will come up, or we'll think of maybe one of my daughters will have something that comes up, or with one of their children or whatever, and then we're like, okay, well, we should do a show on that. And it's been really so interesting because Tova and I just talk. People say, is it difficult to do your show? And we're like, no, we don't. We just talk, because of a lot of our experiences, and because we do like each other a lot, and we are a lot alike, that it's really easy and it's fun.
Well, that's why I think some of the most fresh content in America right now is not coming from Hollywood or any of the national talk shows. It's coming from podcasters who aren't necessarily beholden to a pharmaceutical company who's advertising. You guys can choose the subjects that you feel like real people care about. I asked you both before the show, is there one episode that stands out in your mind? Do you have a favorite?
Yes.
I do too.
Go ahead.
My favorite podcast is a 2-part series that we did. I believe it's episode 2000, it will be, 207, 208. And it was 7 spiritual truths to live by. I have a lot of energy around the spiritual. I'm an ordained Methodist minister, and so I have a lot of energy around the spiritual world and higher power and God. And I believe that that's a huge remedy to a lot of our problems in life.
I love it. And we're not going to tell you what the 7 are. You got to go,
That's right.
listen.
That's right.
and make sure and give 5 stars.
Yes.
All right. Janice, how about you? What's your favorite?
Well, that's hard. That's a hard question to answer. I think my very favorite is it's called the concept of primary loyalty, and it's about having a pyramid of loyalty within your family system or even within your friendship group, so that what I teach people when they come in to do counseling is that the very top part of the pyramid needs to be the mother, the father, and underage children. And then as the children become adults, they move down a slot. So parents, grandparents, all of that will move down a slot, so that it keeps a focus on the importance that the couple feels like this is my primary person. So, and it's not so much about asking permission to do things as it is driving things by. So let's say my husband now, if rather than say, can I do this, I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you have a thought about that? Or does that matter to you? Or is that going to interfere with something for you? So that you're just driving things by. So it really helps to strengthen a relationship. And so we've talked about it on the show, and I use it a lot with my clients. And I've written a second book that's about to come out called Prince Charming is Dead or in Rehab, and it's a book on dating. And so I have that in the book, because a lot of people have conflict struggling with their in-laws.
Yes.
And this puts it in a framework that gives you a reason to focus on your primary person.
Do you ever get suggestions for topics from,
We do.
from your,
A lot.
your
Yeah.
fans?
And I love it. We try to accommodate a lot of our listeners and the things that they ask for. We appreciate so much our listeners, and I mean, all of our listeners sponsor our show. So we take their input very seriously. We love hearing from our listeners.
We really do, because we run out of things sometimes. We're like, okay, what are we going to talk
What should we talk about today?
Like my youngest daughter was on the show once, and we did an episode on mom guilt, and it was great. We got a lot of responses to that, so we're open for that. Our listeners will email us or text us and make a suggestion.
I love it. Okay, we're almost out of time. This is a chance to tease your next episode. When does your next episode drop, and what's it about?
It will drop Monday.
Okay.
And we are going to talk about the 4 S's that children should have when they're being raised. Secure. Well, I'm not even going to tell you what they are.
Yeah, you got to tune in.
But Janice and I are huge advocates of people doing their family of origin work.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of our problems in adulthood are as a result of what we experienced in our families, systems growing up. And so much of my healing as an adult is because of the family of origin work that I did with Janice. And so that is, our next episode is speaking towards those things as children. What are the 4 S's that children need? And if we didn't get those 4 things, how may that be manifesting or acting out in adulthood? And how do we remedy that?
I love it.
Can I plug my first book?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
My first book is called The Shame Game, Leaving Shame to Live in Abundance, and it's based on family of origin work. So if anybody is interested in that, it's on Amazon.
Absolutely. And to learn more about the ladies, please go to their website, which is betheremedies.com. Janice and Tova, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much
for having us. It was really fun.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.